Okay.
And Stromae is a bit. Oh,
There's a
I
little
don't
bit
know.
of electro in there, but I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a very weird style.
Yes. The chat doesn't like trio, apparently.
No.
Whoa.
Alizé?
Oh god, that's like the
No,
French
no,
equivalent of Britney Spears.
Oh, okay, we should stay away from this then.
very, very
Okay.
bad.
Very bad.
What?
All right, let's get some. Any particular songs or just anything? Because for what comes up first would be greenwashing, and I'm gonna butcher this really badly, so forgive me. Um, Hymne de nos champ-
L'hymne de nos campagnes. Put
There
that
we
one.
go. That one.
Yeah.
Are these acceptable?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. So, tell me, why is France the very greatest country on earth?
Red?
Yeah, our bread. I mean, I have in 3 years in San Francisco, I haven't found bread that is what I would consider decent.
Wow.
I mean, Acme baguette are edible.
Edible.
Edible. I can eat them without gagging. The rest is just hard.
Well, America is not known for its bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing
It's
that we
very
have
hard.
a great shortage of, sadly. Yes.
Cheese
what else?
also?
What else do you got for us?
Oh yeah, cheese, of course.
Cheese.
Cheese. Oh well, of course. Cheese, bread, and wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
No. Cheese, bread, wine, ambivalence.
Ambivalence.
Whatever. We don't care. We don't need to be the best.
Not politics.
Not politics. No.
Yeah, no.
Not right now, at least. Maybe once upon a time.
Yeah, like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Not for, not after Napoleon. After that, it all went to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
So-
do you want to know?
I don't know. Well, I have a passing knowledge of French history for an American. You probably would be appalled by it.
Yeah? Try?
I mean,
Oh,
my
God,
knowledge
no.
of American history is pretty bad, and I went to an international school.
I'm sure your knowledge of American history far surpasses my knowledge of French history. But, at least I understand what Bastille Day is, and I know who Napoleon is, and that he was in charge not once but twice, and took the army that was sent to kill him and used it against the very people who sent it after him.
Yeah.
And a few other things here and there, and blah, 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 But
I think
a passing
you know-
knowledge.
You know more than quite a few French people, actually.
Yeah, probably.
We are quite terrible at our own history.
So, well, what do we have in common between the United States and France, aside from our hatred, or perhaps disdain might be a better word for it, for the dirty redcoats that live over kind of the northern part of that water?
What do we have in common?
We both like wines. California wine and French wine are pretty much the only real wines in the world.
Yeah, California wine is actually really good. I'm very impressed every time I drink it.
And you're in the right region for that as well. The Napa
Yeah.
Valley so nearby.
Good.
What else do we have in common? I mean, San Francisco is a very European city. It's very like, it's less American than it is European, I feel sometimes.
Yeah, you can walk around to pretty much anything. You have a decent public transportation. People will, talk to you in the streets and not shove you out of the way. There's
It,
trees.
it's also
Architecture is
human
kind of
size. Like
nice. Yeah,
it's a small city,
seven
and
hundred thousand people is very small.
yeah, and it's easier to get around than it is in most American cities. Where like when I went to Los Angeles, it took me
Oh,
an hour and a half to get from one side of the city to the other, and I was like, how is that possible? And it's just it doesn't compute for me.
Los Angeles is a hellhole. It is my least favorite city I've ever been to.
Yeah, I spent a weekend there, and I was like, I don't really want to go back here. Ever.
No.
Why is it that bad?
It's just you have to. It's very flat, not very tall, and everything's spread out with very wide roads for everything. There's basically no public transportation. There's like a bus, and it's a bad bus. And then it's just a very large county that has lots of different centers with lots of huge spaces in between and large business parks everywhere. And it's just dirty and gross, and there's a lot of smog. And everyone in LA thinks LA is the cool place to be, and they're very kind of bitchy about it.
Yep.
So, like people in San Francisco are like, oh, San Francisco's so cool, whatever. But we're kind of more a little kind of whimsical and like, oh, well, you wouldn't get it if you're not from San Francisco. But LA people are like assholes about LA, like, oh, LA's the greatest. Not as much as New York. New York people are more prideful. LA is just like rude and bitchy. And
People from Paris then.
Yeah.
Except everyone in LA is, well, I shouldn't say everyone, but there's just like so much commercialization and so much. It's supposed to be really wealthy, so everyone is always trying to it's known for lots of cosmetic surgeries, lots of boob jobs, lots of facelifts, tummy tucks, this and that. Lots of people who just
Actually,
care
I would
about
say New York is
entertainment.
more like Paris, and LA is more like the south of France.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Where
I've always
like,
known that there's a bitter rivalry
Paris
between
is
northern
very
France.
prideful, but there's some tastefulness to their pride, whereas LA is just kind of bad all around.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of LA. I grew up.
The look of the area is nice. There's like beaches and it's sunny and all of that, but the people there are not very nice people, generally speaking, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan. See, I think I missed a few things. Lord Small says French Hour needs French music. Play some trill. Okay. And Cleetsor says French Hour, get those white flags flowing. Oh man, we had a French foreign exchange student live with us for like a year and a half in Santa Barbara. He was doing his material sciences PhD at UCSB, and he came up with the weirdest names that he would hear people call the French that I had never heard until he showed up and started laughing about them left and right, and it was quite fun. But I didn't realize the breadth of names that we have for French that are just awful. Like cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quite
I've never seen so much creativity put into like an ethnic slur before. It's a love-hate relationship, man. The United States loves France more than they'll ever admit it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. More than anything, they'd love to hate. So yeah, what educate our mostly American population about something. I mean, you've got an hour to convince us that France is actually cool and not just filled with people who despise all travelers that come through their territory. You have a bad reputation to make up for.
Yeah, but I don't like France, so.
Why do you think I'm in San Francisco?
Yeah. And I'm planning to going away too when I can. So.
No, but in all honesty, the great things about France, we have amazing history, like in our buildings. Our cities are among the most beautiful I've seen in the world. They're like just the old architecture and all of that are beautiful. There's like even in the smallest city, there's a church that is as beautiful as the best church you can find in the United States, basically. And it's a very beautiful country to be in. There's a lot of different landscapes you can go to. You can go from going to the like when you live in Lyon, the beach is 4 hours away. You can go skiing, and that's an hour and a half away. And you can go to wine country, and that's an hour away. It's just you're close to everything, which is kind of awesome.
Oh. And let's see, let's look up some basic history facts of France. Come on, Wikipedia, save our lives here. Population of France is native speakers.
55 million, I would say.
55 million, is that?
Something like that.
It's more than like 50, 60 million now.
Okay.
Population
65.7 million.
65.7. Okay, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, but not really compared to yours. But...
Oh, but I mean, the United States is the size of Europe, you know, and then
It's
some.
bigger, probably.
Yeah,
yeah, it's bigger.
yeah, we have a lot of open land too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, and let's see.
New beaches.
Oh, this is French language. No wonder it's not France. There we go. Let's see. 640,000 square miles. Population 66 million. GDP 2.3 trillion. Ninth largest GDP in the world. It's pretty good. It's not bad at all. Let's see. What is prehistory Gaul, French, Republican of her? So, well, no, that's too boring. No one cares about that old stuff. I was going to talk about French Roman relationships back in the day, but who cares?
We can
My
talk
city was the capital of the Roman Empire in France.
What was?
Lyon. It was
Lyon?
the capital of the Roman province in France, in Gaul.
And Gaul and Saxony, which is Saxony's lower, or no, northwestern France. I'm not sure.
No, it's. I think it's more north than that.
More north than that.
I think so. Not sure.
I cannot say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
The word Saxony does not sound very familiar to me, other than as in Anglo-Saxon.
Nah, doesn't matter. Let's see.
Yes. Yeah. It's Sax. So it's in Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of that crossover region once upon a time. Speaking of which, well, maybe you're not the best people to ask this, but there seems to be a lot of area that has changed hands between you and Germany over the past 400 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
two regions in particular. That are now there is quite a lot of German speaker in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Those one. Because of that.
Fine.
Yeah. we take it, then they take it back, then we take it back.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's been an ongoing war.
And we have the upper hand for the moment, but
for the moment.
German.
Well,
yeah. Those were the filthy Germans, huh?
Oh, filthy German. Yeah, see, we kind of we still like the Germans, no matter what. They make great cars.
They do make good cars.
Great beer.
Nothing you can say about that.
And they have great beer and great sausages and great outfits for their women, and just you know the. Despite all the crap that's happened between the U.S. and Germany, there's always been some weird U.S.-Germany bond that I've never been able to put my finger on, but it's there. It's there.
Yeah, probably the
I guess probably because the U.S. had a very large German-speaking population for up until the First World War, and at which point all the kids at that age stopped learning German and started learning English instead.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, oh yeah. It used to be the
Okay.
second most common spoken language in the United States up until the early 1900s. Yeah, music ran out. We need some more French music.
I'm not hearing the music because I'm not on your stream.
Yeah, me too, because I don't want to hear you in double.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, so Napoleon came to power in 1799-ish?
Ish.
Ish. End of the 18th century, which would have been right after our Revolutionary War. For those of you trying to put this timeline together, and for those Americans or others that here may not know, the American Revolutionary War was actually fought with a great amount of help and financing from France. Like, we would not have actually succeeded, except the French were like, "Oh, you're gonna fuck over the English? All right, here's a bunch of money, here's some guns, here's a fleet. You know what? We're gonna go send a general and some of our troops over there to help you out."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal, which is why there's always been that. Eddie Izzard has this great skit on like the esoteric Frenchman who comes to like sleep with your wife and save your family, and there's always been this kind of love undercurrent of love for the French that we have around here.
We gave you the Statue of Liberty.
Yes,
That?
yes, created by the French for us. I don't actually know how that worked. Was it created, then disassembled, and then reassembled, or just like shipped over on a giant container?
I'm looking the Wikipedia article on this one because actually I don't know.
Well, let's see. French also invented the metric system, which is great.
My God,
That you don't use.
You know what? We should.
Yeah.
We really should.
God, I'm just like every day when I have to measure stuff in feet and in pounds and in fucking Fahrenheit, I'm like, what is this? Why do you have a temperature system that has the freezing at 32 degrees? What is this?
It is because originally the temperature was measured by heating a pole, and at freezing it was 0. And they'd heat it to the boiling point of water, and the pole would extend. And as it extended, it pushed a knob, and when it got to that boiling point of water, the knob had turned 180 degrees over. Then some brilliant person found out that you could get water even colder if you added ice to it, and then did blah 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 blah. And the coldest they could get it down to was 32 degrees below freezing. So they just shifted the entire scale because 0 was supposed to be the coldest temperature possible. So 180 degrees from left to right, and then 32 degrees offset because you want to get it, down to freezing. And that's why it is exactly 1.8 time, or Celsius and Fahrenheit are off by a difference of 32 times 1.8, then plus 32, or minus 32.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's not quite so crazy. And the whole like inches to feet to miles thing, there's a whole bunch of steps in between that nobody uses, like chains, rods, and furlongs, which I don't even know how long a chain is, but a chain is 6 rods, and 6 chains is this, and then 6 of those is a mile. It actually adds up kind of fairly precisely, or maybe it's 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, or something like that. But it actually does kind of make sense if you examine it closely enough and squint your eyes really, really hard.
I see.
Yeah. But at least we're not the English who use both metric and imperial. You'll drive in kilometers per hour but then you'll fill up in or in gallons, but then you'll weigh someone in stones and measure the height of this and this, and the weight of this in stones, but the weight of this other thing in pounds, and the weight of fresh vegetables in, kilos, and the weight of that.
Yeah, we can all agree the British are terrible.
Yes, and you guys drive on the correct side of the road. Thank you very much.
Yes, we do.
What the hell's wrong with them? Why would you ever drive on the left side of the road? You have the word right there. Like, what makes you think that you drive on the right side of the road? It's so perfect. What? How do they ever conquer anything? I don't even get it. I don't get it.
One does wonder.
See, you also have such wonderful historical figures as Joan of Arc, who I believe is kind of fallen out of folklore and tailing these days. But Joan of Arc, for those of you that don't know, was a young woman who, correct me if I'm wrong here, rose to be a fairly powerful general, and I don't know if she actually ruled.
No, she got burnt at the stake by the British.
Thanks, British. But she was like, what, 14 when she came to power? Or commanded troops?
Yeah, something like that. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, actually, it's not really flattering for the French that a 14-year-old girl rose to power. It's not really...
Yeah, a 14-year-old girl beat the British out of our country when we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
she died
listening to voice in her head.
Yeah.
Oh, really? This is news to me. Please tell. She was born to a peasant family in a place that I can't pronounce in northeast France. She said she received visions of the archangel Michael, instructing her to support Charles VII and recover France from England in the late Hundred Years' War. Uncrowned King Charles sent Joan to the siege of Orleans as part of a relief mission. She gained prominence after the siege and was lifted only in 9 days. Several additional swift victories led to Charles VII's recognition at Rimis, blah blah blah. She was captured, handed over to the English, and then put on trial and burned alive at the stake at about 19 years old.
Yep.
But
For
still,
being a witch.
Yeah, ridiculous. But still, extraordinarily important historical figure for women, and let's see, what else did you have? You had the Visigoths in France, right? You can get the Gothic architecture from there, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That is
got that
correct.
right. I was crossing my fingers and hoping I was not wrong on that. Then you have the French Alps.
Yes.
And whatever region, mountain that is between you guys and Spain.
The Pyrenees.
Pyrenees, there we go. Lovely Pyrenees to keep the Spanish out and all their rowdy drinking and, hangover Mondays.
And back in the day, they're Arab conquerors.
Oh, yes. Half of Spain was conquered by Arabs. Three
Yeah.
quarters?
More than half. They had like a tenth of their country left.
Yeah. Got to keep the Moors out as well. All right. Strome. Let's try this if I can paste search. How do you guys feel about your national anthem? Are you fond of it? Not so fond of it?
I like it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So it's very warlike. I don't know what this phrase is properly, but like it's talking basically about the French going to war for patry and things like that. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
A bit bloody.
A little.
See, France is also one of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. It's also one of the few nuclear powers in the world, and you guys are working on a nuclear fusion reactor.
Yes, we are.
And
Also
the CERN super collider runs through part of France, right?
I
yeah,
did not know that, but probably
it-
it's so big.
it's at the frontier with
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah. Yes, I remember reading. Oh god, now I'm going to botch this. There was something hilarious about Germany wanting to be nuclear power free, so they. It wasn't Germany. It was some country over there. I thought it might be Germany. That, got rid of all their nuclear power plants and then just bought energy from France, who uses nuclear power for everything. Is it Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just hilarious, and I don't understand in the slightest. But
For a while, there was right. They would have nuclear. They had the nuclear power plants in Germany themselves, and they would export the nuclear waste to France, where we would treat it, and then send it back. And some protesters in Germany blocked the trains from coming back because they didn't want the nuclear waste in their country. It was like, it's your nuclear waste. We made it better.
yeah, in fact, France derives 75% of its electricity from nuclear power, the highest percentage in the world, which is great because it's also the cleanest energy in the world.
I thought Japan was ahead of us.
Well, Wikipedia might be lying to me here.
I may be wrong, but I thought they were, or at least they were trying to.
I think this might be a 2004 stat, so it could be well out of date. Oh no, 2013. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, but they must be like very close behind us, I think.
Yeah. It's funny that Japan are so pro-nuclear, considering the experiences they've had with nuclear power.
Yeah, they've not had good luck. Let's call it. Yeah, atomic bombs, some radioactive monsters.
Yeah, like real nuclear fusion also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the earthquake.
Yeah,
and
that was.
tsunami.
Yeah.
It was a little scary for them.
And also like some bombs, courtesy of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was either that or land invasion. So.
Oh no, it's
No.
Yeah, we
Different
perfectly
people.
understand where you were coming from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Still not a very happy
not
point.
yeah.
The French national anthem. Here we go. For those of you who may not have heard the French national anthem before, apparently there's an advertisement off for it. Here we go. Should be loud enough to hear, but quiet enough to talk over if we need to.
Okay.
Wait, France is officially the French Republic? That's your official name, is the French Republic?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe?
yeah, it is,
I don't know.
but like nobody uses it.
Huh. Oh, of course, I remember this song. At first, when it started, there was all these horns and trumpets, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then it cut into the lyrics, and I'm like, "Oh yes, I remember this from Civilization back in the day." Third largest stockpile of nuclear weapons. That would be after the U.S. and Russia. Second largest diplomatic corps. Also, French had a lovely war in Vietnam right before we arrived,
Yeah.
with a very
As
similar
well as
outcome.
you did.
Yeah, maybe a little bit better.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we did better.
Well, you lost fewer and got out sooner.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are good at getting out of conflict in general.
Yeah. So, chat, do you have any questions for any of our Frenchmen here? I'm sure they'd be slightly annoyed if you asked them anything, but that is their way. Then we wait for the 30-second chat delay.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. Who didn't the Vienna? We British have a huge amount of semi-useless plutonium. Would you guys like the British plutonium? I mean, clearly we're making international deals here, so you're free to accept or decline as you please. I'll talk to the president, and you can talk to the president of France, and we'll make this happen.
And we're always happy to get some plutonium to run our power plants. We got to get that electricity.
Yeah. Well, question: How do the French feel about the Arabic people coming into France? Ooh,
Oh, touchy subject.
touchy subject.
Really touchy subject.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fact that the Front National did 25% less elections has something to do with that, but thankfully not everyone is
Yeah.
so narrow-minded.
There are. Yeah, we all have our. I mean, it's not much better in Greece, and UK has its issues, and recently I think. Oh God, I want to say Norway has had some pretty big issues with that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sweden too, I think.
Yes, Norway and Sweden. And Finland's always been just a little bit quirky anyway. Never understood them. So, what is the whole north of France, south of France divide that I keep hearing about it, but I've never really understood?
The south of France speak have a really strong accent.
They do.
And like in general, like north of France, I think it's especially between like Paris and the rest of France. I think because like people like that live in Paris most of the time consider themselves like the elite because like we live in the capital, so like we are better than you, and
of course,
tend to despise people that live in more rural area.
Yeah, which is why I compared Paris with New York, because I feel like New York is kind of the same.
Yeah, New Yorkers definitely feel like they're the intellectual and cultural center of the world, as they would like to put it. Which I'm sure you would have some debates over.
Just a few.
I once invaded a French in Dark Souls, and it was horrible. Wow, you invaded a whole French? It's amazing. I didn't think there were that many French to invade. That is the end of the theme. Well, not theme. National anthem. Wow, I could use a little bit of sleep, I guess.
Most French people know only the first verse of the national anthem because that's the only part we sing.
Same here. We have a 6-part national anthem, but no one ever sings anything other than the first verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if most Americans in chat probably don't even know we have more than one verse. No questions for you guys, apparently.
It's okay, we're not that interesting.
How do you feel about the education level in France?
That's true. Could be interesting. We do have a very good education system.
It tend to, I think, degrade, really.
What do you mean?
Like it's there. There is a lowering of the level that students are expected to have. So basically, so now when you get to university, students are have a worse level than they had for example 10 years in the past. And that's becoming a real problem also like governments reduce the money that they give for our education system, like reduce the number of teacher, reduce the option. For example, if you want to play music, it's becoming more and more difficult to do that in college, and I think that's really a bad thing. To like education or education system will make what France will be tomorrow, and like reduce it is the stupidest thing ever.
Okay. We have
Yeah, you got to invest more in education for sure, and that's kind of a problem that the U.S. have to.
Oh my God, we have a terrible problem with education. You said when you said you had a 30% voter turnout, you're like, oh, it was really bad. We have like an abysmal voter turnout here in the United States. It's awful.
Well, I mean, compared to what we get for national elections, the European elections get really bad turnout. They get that 35% turnout, but for national elections, like electing the government, we get like 80% turnout. And so that's why it feels really bad to us.
Okay. So a couple of questions. What is a favorite traditional French dish we have from chat?
Favorite traditional French dish?
Like main dish, or it can be dessert.
Whichever.
Well, I could say foie gras, but that's not even a dish. That's more of a produce.
Which has been banned in California.
I know. I am so sad about that. It's made me suffer horribly.
Wait, I'm looking for the. Boar, like
Oh
boar,
yeah, boy.
because it's quite rare to find. Well, not that rare, but and it's really tasty meat.
Yeah, it's very gamey, but it's really good.
Yeah.
I have to say the only food I remember eating, aside from the pastries, which were phenomenal, in all of France, was some boar meatballs that I got at my just before we hopped on the train to go to Spain.
Nice.
They were absolutely delicious.
Good.
I bet.
And someone, Miam from chat, would love to know what cursing in French sounds like.
Putain, bordel.
Putain de bordel de merde, nique sa mère, je vais t'enculer. Something like that.
I am not even going to ask for translation.
No, you should not.
Yeah, no. we have really colorful cursing, I think.
Colorful is a good word.
Oh wait, I thought I saw one just a moment ago. Okay, what do you actually think about German-French relations in the EU? In contemporary?
You mean like government-wise or people-wise? Because
it was not specified. It said German-French relationship and EU. I presume government, but we could also extend to people.
Like we like German in terms of people, of course, but government-wise, I have no idea.
Or don't you live in France?
Yeah, but I don't have time this year to really care about what's happening in France.
It's a complicated thing all around. It's just, well, first of all, our political leaders are from very different political parties. Our, what's his name? Hollande is left wing, minded, while Angela Merkel is more conservative. So it puts a little bit of strain on our relations, but we're still pretty strong allies. And I think everyone knows that we wouldn't be doing nearly as well without the amount of cooperation we have. So, yeah, we're kind of on the fence about it all.
Let's see. We have a message from chat. I'm French. Happy to see French Hour. Oh God. Vive la Bretagne.
Bretagne.
There we go.
It's a region of France near UK.
Ah. And more French words that I would butcher badly. I'm not even going to try. France also supplies Britain with energy and vice versa via the HVDC cross channel, which is bidirectional 2,000 megawatt link, which is pretty sweet. You also have half of the channel, which is an amazing piece of architecture, by the way.
It's pretty cool.
Very well done. Very well done. Broken Arms Gordon would like to know, how does France feel about Quebec? Do they have a noticeable accent? Is it similar to the British versus American accents?
Sorry, again, I didn't quite catch that.
How does France feel about Quebec? Do they have a noticeable accent? Is it similar to the British versus American accents?
It's worse. I went to Quebec a few years ago, and I went to like this bed and breakfast in the countryside, and the guy was talking to me in French, and I was just nodding along, thinking in my head, please talk to me in English, please. Oh, please talk to me in English.
Yeah, like when during role play, Jen speak French. Like it's really it's really funny for us.
Yeah,
because the
funny,
accent
but
is so
she's
off.
very understandable.
The accent is really awful. But actually, Jen accent is okay. Like she's
Her accent's acceptable for
yeah.
Okay, for someone from Canada. Have you heard Miss Harvey's accent at all?
Is she a blonde girl?
She's the blonde girl on Miss Clicks.
Oh yeah, because I remember like the time where the two of them were talking together in France. Yeah, I think she has a more stronger accent than Jen. But still, it's okay.
It's okay. It's not real French, but it'll do. Yeah. Let me see how it is. Well, that just about wraps up our time with our French hour. I think after this we're going to do what's next on the table. No, is it Irish? Really? No, it's Swedish. It's Swedish, and then German, and then Irish, and then Alabama, and then Oklahoma, then Danish, then Finnish. We actually have a few more time slots that are unfilled, so if anyone else out there wants to get into the love of another country, we can try that out. Do you have any closing words from the French people to whoever's on stream right now, or watching the channel?
Come visit us. We have awesome architecture and awesome food.
And some food, yeah. Just come for the food.
Yeah.
Come for the food.
The food alone is worth it.
Yeah.
Should people try learning a few words of French or just give up and just speak English?
It's probably better to give up.
Yeah. Because like we are quite we really don't like or when French is spoken wrongly. So yeah, better to go straight for English. Maybe like something like bonjour, like a hello, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach.
All right. Well, thank you, Pierre and Francois, which are best names I could possibly have hoped for. I can't even think of a stereotypical female French name.
Claudette.
Oof, wait. But it's not very commonly used anymore.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I hope you enjoy your time in San Francisco. Are you a permanent resident now?
I am a permanent resident. I got married.
Oh, well, congratulations. And
Thank you.
Félicitations.
All right, we'll see you guys around.
All right,
Bye-bye.
see you around.
See you. Bye.
Oh, lovely French hour here. French hour. I'm Weddish. What the hell is... Oh, Swedish! You forgot an S. All right, so what's going on? Hey, babe. How's it going? All right, guys. I'm going to go set up some overlays and stuff so we can move on to the next hour, which I said was... I want to say it was Swedish. What is making that noise? Swedish hour is next. All right, so I'm gonna run some commercials, change some overlays, and grab some Swedes, and we'll see you guys in about 3 minutes for our Swedish hour.